Coalition forces say 5 days of bombing in Libya has effectively disabled Muammar Gaddafi's air force. On Wednesday, Allied airstrikes targeted Gaddafi's compound in Ajdabiya, and Libyan forces were also hit in Misrata. The French launched their first missions from the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle. Defense Secretary Robert Gates says the U.S. could transfer control of the operation to the Allies by the weekend. And Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says there is one way for Gaddafi to put a stop to the airstrikes.
So Gaddafi has a decision to make, and the people around him each have decisions to make. The quickest way for him to end this is to actually serve the Libyan people by leaving.
While the military operation has been successful so far, President Obama is facing pressure from Congress to provide clear answers on Libya. House Speaker John Boehner is calling on the president to outline to the United States the goals for the operation. For more, we're joined by Politico's White House reporter Abby Phillip. Thanks for being with us, Abby.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, so let's get to Speaker Boehner. He sent a letter to the president asking him for that outline. How will the president respond?
The White House is saying at the moment that they've done what they think is legally necessary under the War Powers Resolution, which is to send a letter to Congress informing them of the decision that the president has made. They believe it's limited in time, in scope, and in duration, and that's all that's necessary at this point in time. But the president has returned from his 5-day trip to Latin America, and in light of that, he's going to be hearing some of the louder voices on Capitol Hill asking for more details about what exactly we're doing in Libya, how much is it going to cost, and how long are we going to be there. Chances are you'll hear the president and his aides talking a lot more, reiterating a lot of those same messages that we've been hearing over the last few days, which is that we're not in this forever. We're going to be getting out in the next couple of days. You'll hear a lot more of that from them.
Let me ask you this, though. Speaker Boehner has spoken to the president, or sent that letter asking for a response here. The president has come out in press conferences, but at the same time, does he owe the American people a response to come out on the air saying what the clear goals are here?
And some people certainly think so. The White House's aides have said, however, that the president is not, or he's highly unlikely to give a speech or a major address about this Libya situation. One would expect that he would come out and explain once again how the mission is going, how long we're going to be there, and what exactly our aims are. He did that in a press conference last week, and his aides say that that may be as much as we're going to hear from him in the way of a major address.
Let me step back for just 1 second, because a lot of people are questioning whether the president should have gone to Congress before any of this happened, before committing forces to Libya. Did he do this in the right protocol, if you will?
The president spoke to a number of members of Congress just before he made the announcement publicly that he had authorized the use of force. They met in the Situation Room at the White House just hours before the president went on national television. In that meeting were a lot of the congressional leaders on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, and Speaker Boehner as well participated by phone. The next day, the president's top national security aides also briefed Congress once again. But let's remember that a lot of members of Congress are expecting more than just information. They're expecting a hearing, a chance to debate this issue. And they say that the White House hasn't given them the opportunity to do that. So you'll be hearing a lot of those calls for that really increase over the next couple of days.
Well, yeah, Republicans are calling for answers, but Democrats are also calling for answers, and many of them are not happy with the president's decision to intervene in Libya. So is the president facing any political fallout from all of this?
It's very clear that both sides of the aisle are not happy with him right now, or at least the loudest voices aren't. There's some evidence that some Democrats in the Senate and some Republicans in the Senate as well are supportive, but their voices are just not as loud. There's a much larger contingent of congressmen in the House, Democrats, who are very anti-war and who believe that President Obama came in as a candidate who was also anti-war, who believe that this is exactly the opposite of what they expected from him. And they're very disappointed, and they're making that disappointment known.
Let me ask you this. You're in the Beltway there. Is there some fear in Washington of another long-term war?
Absolutely. You hear the echoes of this everywhere, that we are engaged in two military situations right now in Iraq and in Afghanistan. And our military is pretty stretched right now. There are questions about the cost as well. Right now, Congress is fighting bitterly over how to reduce the budget deficit, how to reduce the shortfall that we know into the future is going to be in the trillions of dollars. And a lot of people are saying this is not going to help. On the other hand, the White House says that they're hoping to fund this military operation with the existing Pentagon budget. It remains to be seen whether that is actually going to be something that's possible.
Yeah, a lot remains to be seen. All right, Politico's White House reporter Abby Phillip, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.